do like this.
Okay. That's our new start. The high five.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Woo.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, we're going.
All right. Welcome again back to another amazing episode of World's Best Dad podcast.
Yep.
With the world's best dads.
Yep.
I'm Christian.
This is Christian. I'm Jimmy.
And we have a super special guest.
A super special.
I'm going to let Jimmy. I'm going to let you.
Pal of mine.
You're going to introduce him.
Personal pal I've known for
many
couple
years.
Decades now, right?
Decades for sure.
We have an old friend, our buddy Todd Medina is with us. Todd Medina.
Hey,
Todd Medina.
I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate both of you, Christian, Jimmy. Thank you for letting me be here tonight with you.
Yeah, of course, awesome. Of course. I'm stoked that you're on here. I've been thinking about getting you on here for a while.
Oh man, thank you.
It's fun times. So Todd and I go back a couple decades. So
Todd and I actually go back a few minutes.
Yeah.
We just met. Okay, all right. I'm going to flex a little bit right now.
Do it.
Because Todd and I just met.
Yep.
Okay, we just barely met. And Todd said something really nice to me, which makes me like him even more. I already liked him.
He goes, "You got a purty mouth."
Right? No, he didn't say that. He said I had good energy, right?
Yeah, you got great energy.
Yeah.
Like right out the gate.
Come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, he does.
And it makes me feel good. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah,
Christian's our
good energy.
Guy.
Yeah.
He's our energy guy.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, well,
I'm the Debbie Downer over here.
Nobody keep up with you, Jimmy. It's not easy.
Yeah, Jimmy's tough.
Yeah.
Jimmy's tough.
Yeah.
So again,
anyway, and that makes me excited
okay,
because
good. You got a compliment right
the
out
things
of the gate.
Todd has done in his life, I have not ever done.
Yeah.
Really.
Like achieved anything? You're
yeah,
correct.
I haven't done anything.
You're correct. Todd has achieved.
Yeah, he's an achiever.
I'm just kidding. Christian's achieved a couple of things. He got his GED, I believe. Right?
Barely. No, not even that. Not even that.
Okay, never mind.
Anyway, let's not talk about
we
me.
Don't need to go
We're
down
talking
the
about you and Todd. I just interrupted because I didn't have very much. So
You're great.
I just spent it.
You
I just
had
spent
the energy. You had the energy thing. Yeah. So Todd and I go back a few decades. So Todd is an MMA Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know. Yeah, like
we've been in this game.
You're like a pioneer almost,
yeah.
though, right? Like going back to UFC 5.
Yeah.
Correct?
No rules.
No rules.
It wasn't even
no
MMA.
gloves.
It wasn't even MMA.
Yeah.
NHB, no rules, no gloves,
exactly.
no time limits.
Yep.
So this is back in the UFC early days of
90s.
Yeah.
And
Early
this
90s.
is pre Dana White, right?
Yeah.
Very pre-Dana White.
Right.
Very.
This is the early days when it was like
Indian
they would take
casinos.
different
Yeah.
styles, like different fighting styles,
Yeah, that was the thing.
and put them against each
Yep.
other.
Yes, sir.
So you'd have like a ninja versus like
Sumo.
Greco-Roman
Yes,
wrestler.
A sumo,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah,
'cause
sumo.
there
A
was
sumo versus a ninja.
Yeah.
Or like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu versus
a boxer.
a boxer.
With one glove.
With one
Art
glove.
Jimerson.
That was the thing. Yeah. That was the
UFC
thing.
one.
Or someone that did what was Ed Parker's style? It was
Eating? An eating
no,
contest?
not
Yeah.
Jeet
All
Kune
you
Do.
can. All you can.
All you can eat.
Yeah.
See?
All you can eat
Yeah.
style versus smorgasbord,
See?
which is from Sweden.
Yeah. Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, but there was different styles. Which are those UFC tapes of it? Because they were on videotapes,
On
right?
VHS.
Yeah,
You
VHS.
say that now? Yeah. And
You'd
the
have to
young
track them
generation.
down on VHS.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
as
Keep that
dads,
look.
we know what that is.
Yes, sir.
VHS.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Kids, Google it.
Yeah.
Don't watch the Google.
Truth
kids,
machine. Yeah, be careful.
Careful what
Don't
you
hit
Google.
images. Don't hit images.
Yeah. But back to UFC 5, like before that, I know you trained with Ken Gabrielson, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I started with Ken Gabrielson too, with
Ken's the
jiu-jitsu.
best.
Yeah, he's amazing. So Ken Gabrielson had a school in Westminster, and he's a fire chief. I don't think he was a fire chief then, though, right? But he's a firefighter.
He was a captain at the time.
Okay, so he was a captain.
Yeah.
So what did you have any other background outside of just like, hey, I've seen this fight and I want to try it and I'm going to go to Ken's and try to get a little training before? Or
Yeah, like
give
just
us some of your
growing up, like from city to city, state to state, not in the best places.
Yeah.
Growing up.
So you had
like,
couple rough outings.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you kind of got used to that, whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah.
So
As a fighter.
Or as a person.
Or
no,
just
rough
as a
areas,
kid.
Person,
basically.
yeah. Oh, so
you grew up fighting,
yeah,
basically.
we grew up as poor kid, poor to be, and then we moved into another poor spot and another one, and
Right.
the new kid, and just always getting into it or whatever. So that
So
just
you,
helped.
So with that upbringing and that kind of, I guess, that life that you've led, you saw UFC and were like, I'm going to do that.
I was in college at the time.
That's insane.
Somebody gave me a VHS tape, Christian. He said, you got to see this. This is made for you. I was like, okay. And I saw it, and like, college was done. And I'm not, stay in college, kids. Stay in college.
Stay in school.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. Yeah,
get a career.
That's not what I'm pushing. This
don't
whole
do
thing.
what Christian and I did.
Yeah.
Or Todd.
Yeah. Don't do it to you.
That's true. Whatever we talk about, do the opposite.
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Except for being a good dad. Be a good dad.
Absolutely.
Whatever you do, be a good dad.
We'll get there.
We'll get to that.
Thank you.
So college.
College, yeah. Do as we say, not as we do. So
Yeah.
I quit college, I was just like both feet in. I'm doing this, and there was
So
no.
you quit before the UFC 5, the fight?
Yeah.
Oh wow! So you're just like this is my calling.
Which videotape? Which fight did you see that was the one that were like, oh, I'm in? Which
UFC 1?
Well, UFC 1.
And because there was no cell phones, no Google, no internet, no.
There were pagers though.
Yeah, there were. Yes, sir.
pagers.
Yeah, yes,
That's
sir.
true.
Yeah.
I had one.
Oh, what? Let me go to the payphone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had the pagers.
Yep.
So
So you got a page.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That.
There's a lot of kids that don't even know what pagers
Yeah.
are.
That's straight.
It's crazy to think about.
Tell them what a pager is. Tell them what a pager is.
It's really hard to explain, but it was like a little digital box, and you could call the number that it was basically like a phone receiver, kind of. I guess you call it, and it would vibrate in your pocket, and you look and say, "Oh, this number is calling you."
Phone number.
You couldn't answer. You couldn't answer it. It would just digitally
Correct.
like a watch.
Yeah.
It would LCD like print the phone number
Yep.
on this little screen, and you'd say, "Oh, this number is calling me. I better go find a phone and call them."
Yeah.
Right.
And
That's all it was.
And the funny thing about that is you're kind of taking a gamble of like, unless you memorize that number, who is this?
Yes.
Right.
You know, because it's not like you had your phone book on you.
And there was no photo, or what is it? It was called caller ID. There was no caller ID on a pager.
This is Steven.
It was just
goodness.
numbers, right? So you go like, "Who's calling me?" And you'd have to find some quarters or wherever you were and call them.
Yeah.
And then if it was real important, sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good.
911. Put their number in, and 911. They're like, really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this must be urgent. I
Yeah.
need to call Larry back.
I need to get off the freeway and get the calling. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
No,
no.
Please
This is what we're
interrupt.
doing.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were.
Okay.
Okay,
So
because
roll.
we interrupted you.
Okay.
Continue. Though.
Yes,
Okay.
you were going.
You quit college. You started. Did you start training or
Oh
what?
no, you know what it was? It's one of Kenny's.
So you
Matty
already-
Orlandi.
You already knew like Ken or some
No.
of his guys. Okay.
No. I just knew I was getting in it, but I was training a little bit with one of Ken's students, stand up.
Oh, okay.
JKD.
Yeah. Oh, Ken did JKD
Yeah,
back
he
then
was a
too.
full instructor in
Yeah.
JKD. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Jeet Kune Do
Correct.
for all you kids out
Bruce
there that
Lee
don't know.
loved
There
it.
we go.
Bruce Lee loved
Jeet
it.
Kune Do was Bruce Lee's style.
Yes.
Which was all the styles mixed into one. It was
Correct.
probably the precursor of MMA, wouldn't you say?
100%.
The
Yeah.
JK,
You're spot on, Christian.
right?
Yeah.
Jeet Kune Do.
For a guy with no cauliflower ears, you know some stuff.
Hey, my dad was a high school wrestling coach.
Oh.
So his dream was that his son would have cauliflower ears.
And to put you in a full Nelson.
And I ran. No, I'd get half Nelsons, full Nelsons. He wasn't coaching when I got into high school. My parents divorced before we could attack that bridge.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that
Yeah.
up, Todd.
So it's a,
Jeez.
no. Let's talk about our
We've talked about
depressing
that before.
past. Yeah. No, it's fine. But I entered a bunch of wrestling contests as a kid, and went out
Like
did
Andy
the
Kaufman, you
Ohio
wrestled
State
women?
wrestling
Oh.
team.
You wrestled
No.
women?
It wasn't
Yeah.
WWF. It was like freestyle wrestling, just regular. It wasn't Greco. It was
So back
just
to your
freestyle.
thing. Back to your
Anyway,
thing.
but yeah, I'm a fan of wrestling
Right.
and of fighting. Jeet Kune Do.
Yes.
I'm a fan.
Not too many people know that. That's good.
I did Jeet
Yeah.
Kune Do for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
very
after I went to Ken Gabrielson's for a little bit, dislocated my elbow skateboarding, had to stop jiu-jitsu for a bit,
Oh.
and then got into Jeet Kune Do. Got hurt again skateboarding, stopped, and then I found you, and then did jiu-jitsu again.
I watched Enter the Dragon a lot. I never took Jeet Kune Do, but I know where it is. I much respect for it.
Most guys that Jeet Kune Do, like Kenny, are out of their garage because it's such a hard art.
Yeah.
Like it's just straight smashing fools.
Totally.
Knees, elbows, headbutts.
Yep.
So you can't have like a regular
There-
brick and mortar.
There was a school literally right by your place on Gothard. It was
A Jeet Kune Do
a
school?
Jeet Kune Do school,
Wow.
and it was, man, I'm so bummed right now. I'm spacing his name, but
JKD.
JKD, and he learned from Dan Inosanto, like taught him. And I'm so bummed I forgot his name. I'm gonna put a photo here anyway since I found it. But this guy recently passed like a few years ago. But he was like a little Asian dude, legit, like so gnarly. They even did the 1-inch punch on me because I was like, come on, does that really work? I had a pad, he did it, and it knocked the wind out of me.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, whoa, that works.
Make you a believer.
Yeah,
what?
totally.
Yeah, right?
Totally, yeah.
The 1-inch punch is a technique in Jeet Kune Do, which Bruce Lee was famous for. He like made it popular, right? Which some of our listeners probably don't know what that is.
Yeah, he
but
did it at a tournament.
You could
right?
put
you
stand next to somebody.
Oh, okay.
Explain what the 1-inch punch is.
Yeah, well, you just size up. Like, say, for example, you put your fingertips on somebody's chest and then back it up an inch.
Yeah.
And then from that, he can
generates insane power with his hips and his shoulders. And he did it. There's a video.
You can have your fist 1 inch away from someone's body and punch them.
And he generated so much power with his techniques. It knocked the dude back right into a chair.
Yeah, they put a chair behind him.
With the video. So we'll try to put the video here.
Yes.
So anyways.
Yeah.
But it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
So you were in college. You're studying already.
Yeah.
Fighting.
William Holland.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Oh.
William Holland.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, so he was. I was taking Jeet Kune Do from him on Gothard, and he passed away like I think 5 years ago.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, he was the best. He always was trying to push noni juice on us for our aches and pains.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you'd sign somebody else up to sell it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
But he was fantastic. Yeah, he was legit. He learned from Dan Inosanto.
How did he pass away? Do you know?
I don't know, honestly. I know he was pretty old, but I don't think he was like in his
Not that
80s.
old, yeah.
No, exactly.
It could have been the noni juice.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Have you
I know what it is. I have friends that sell it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I was doing.
I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm just making a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Is it good? I think it's probably good for you, right?
All right, we keep cutting you off. Back to you.
So
So Jeet Kune Do with one of Kenny's guys. And that's what you started. So you weren't doing jiu-jitsu, but you knew Hoist 1.
Yes.
Okay.
This
So
whole
you were like
Gracie
Jeet Kune Do.
And this guy'd been trying to get me down to Hoist's uncle Horian down in like Corona del Mar.
Right?
No, this was Corona del Mar.
Oh, okay.
It might not have been Horian. I don't remember which one of the brothers or cousins.
Yeah.
But
it's
it was
gonna be fine.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
There's so many of them.
But it was like $500 a month, and that was like 1992, 1993.
That's so much money.
For something I didn't know, and I'm like, and he's like, it's just that there wasn't the right vibe. I'm like, there's no way. So,
$500,
and they wouldn't let me in the UFC back then anyway because they're only letting, if you knew jiu-jitsu, they wouldn't let you in.
The Gracies ran the UFC, which a lot of people don't know. So
really,
they set it up like Bob. What was the guy? Bob, the guy who funded it.
Bob Arum?
Bob Merowitz?
No, Merowitz.
Bob Merowitz knew, like, was it Horian, right?
And Horian.
Yeah, so they knew the Gracies, and the Gracies are the one who set this up to basically show the U.S. the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu schools and how effective
So even from UFC 1, they were curating the fights
100%
to lead up to the fact that their style was the most dominant.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. Wait, that's kind of like a conspiracy theory.
No, it's a fact.
No, it's a fact.
It's a fact because it's our opinion.
That's good. That's good. No.
But in all honesty, that is a fact that they did curate the thing because they knew Gracie Jiu-Jitsu or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was the most effective martial arts, and nobody knew.
That's pretty awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah, so they would handpick everybody. So you couldn't get in unless they handpicked. Yeah.
So Hoist Gracie won, but he wasn't. The Gracie students weren't featured from the beginning of the UFC, right? It took a couple of.
Hoist was then the first one. It was their family first. So apparently, and this I don't know for a fact because I've never talked to these dudes, but supposedly, and I know this for a fact, but Hickson is the top Gracie in that generation. But they didn't put him in it because he couldn't come to terms with Horian or something like that. So they put Hoist in, who was Hickson's younger brother, and actually worked better in their favor, and they liked as well because he was a scrawny kind of little runt, and he beat these giants.
Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fact. Yeah.
You're
spot on with that.
Yeah.
But they picked everybody, and I was fortunate. And so you couldn't find, there was no number to call to get in the UFC, and so it took me a while. But they put an ad in Black Belt magazine, and I sent it in, but that didn't matter. So there was an address or a phone number on that one. So I called Art Davey, who was the matchmaker and the
was
kind of
his number in the ad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
the office. Like, how'd you get his number? That's
so I was very fortunate, but that was like that took me till like UFC 3 to get all this information because there was just nothing out there. I was like, oh goodness. So I called him, and my first meeting was crazy because it was right. Okay, so Chemo fought UFC.
That was
3.
UFC 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chemo didn't beat Hoist, but kind of beat Hoist.
Yeah, I put it on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't the fight where Hoist beat him the next time, where he tied him up with his hair, right? That
was that fight.
That was that same
was that
fight.
fight.
Okay.
Yeah, Christian.
UFC 3.
But Chemo didn't win that fight, or he did?
He didn't win. He eventually tapped out, but he beat Hoist down.
Oh, okay.
Hoist continue.
But that's where
Yeah.
that's where Hoist almost got him by wrapping his hair around his neck
Yeah,
and like
it was-
choke him out. And then so there was a fighter named Chemo, and he had
Yeah.
long hair.
Yes.
And they were wrestling, and he was beating up Hoist Gracie.
Basically
He grabbed
used
he used his hair.
No, he didn't do that. He submitted him with an armbar, but he had like a weird little ponytail, and he just grabbed it like a handlebar, and Chemo couldn't go anywhere.
move him around.
Yeah.
And then the next fight, Chemo had a shaved head.
Yeah, he cut his
Yes.
hair short.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
Wow, Christian.
Oh, I
You
remember.
probably watched this at
I
my
watched
house on
all.
DirecTV.
Yeah, we watched it all together. We were all into it. So
Yeah.
definitely into it.
That's funny.
DirecTV.
So you actually reached out to Art Davies
Yeah.
and talked to him around UFC 3 or 4.
Yeah,
That's insane.
right after 3,
Yeah.
because Japan picked Chemo up right after that, so he
Okay.
wasn't coming back. So they needed somebody kind of big, different looking.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like 280.
Yeah, you were
It's-
big back
yeah.
then. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like 100 pounds heavier.
Whoa.
But the crazy thing,
I can't imagine you at 280.
It's the pictures. People look like I have that picture. A couple of them on my default on
Can we
social
show
media.
that? Can we show that?
Yeah, please.
With
All
the
right, we'll show it right here.
Yeah.
Old
Boom.
big Todd Medina.
Wow.
And people were like, "Hey, who's that guy in your default picture?"
Yeah.
Or whatever. They can't. They go, "There's no way that can be you." It's like 2 of me. It's crazy.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, you look around under 200 or
170?
180.
180.
180.
Yeah. Thanks, Jimmy.
No offense.
Okay.
But I was going to say, yeah, I can't imagine another 100 pounds
Yeah,
on
it's
you.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I walked into that meeting with Art Davey, the first one, he had a revolver, a 45 sitting on the desk.
What?
I'm like, what? That's
Yeah.
how hardcore UFC used to be back.
That's
then.
crazy.
It was so, and I didn't do anything.
Was it
Yeah.
just for negotiating purposes?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
you're
Here's
going to
the
take
deal.
this deal.
Yeah, here's the deal.
yeah.
like
Black licorice is your payment.
it didn't whatever was in that contract, which wasn't anything crazy. If you didn't sign, you didn't fight.
Yeah.
But there were so many like knuckleheads, like just raw Street Fighter guys, like
Oh, just like intimidating, trying to maybe
Get in.
intimidate Art or whatever.
yeah. So
Okay,
you're
that
putting
makes
this guy
sense.
in.
Yeah.
So he had a gun on the
Yeah.
table.
Which is so that was-
Peacemaker. A peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
the
Yeah,
kids
I'm gonna
call
use
it.
that one.
Yeah. It's yours. Take it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in my back pocket.
Yeah.
So that's how that whole thing went back.
That's crazy.
These are the Wild West days of the 1990s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back when Bon Jovi was riding a steel
Oh.
horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wasn't he wanted, dead or alive?
I believe he
Yeah.
was. Yes.
You guys are good.
So you weren't doing jiu-jitsu yet. Still, you were just doing Jeet Kune Do
Yeah.
with Ken's guy.
With Ken's guy.
Okay.
And then pretty much as soon as we got the green light to go in, I
Uh-huh.
kind of started. Actually, well, not too many people know this. I only trained 6 months.
I heard that you
Before that.
barely. You
Yeah.
Before
barely
UFC
started
5.
Training,
Yeah, before I got in. Yeah. So that was, I wasn't even hanging out with Kenny yet.
Yeah.
So they approved you to fight, and you didn't really know who you were going to fight, or did they tell you up front, like, okay, you're going to fight the Krav Maga from, or did you know who you were going to fight?
No.
I think it was like a roll of the dice until you were there that night, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the day, or maybe the day before.
Oh.
Well, even then, because there was rumors around that fight was the first one Ken Shamrock and Hoist fought as a super fight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because there was rumors that I was training with Kenny in jiu-jitsu, and there was no way they were letting anybody in that knew jiu-jitsu if Hoist was in the tournament.
That's funny.
So they're like on the wall with me, like,
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they made that super fight, and then I got the call and said, okay, you can go in now.
Yeah.
But yeah, not until the day before did I know who I was fighting.
Amazing. And then, so who did you end up fighting in?
The first guy was the super heavyweight kickbox champ of the world, which I thought he was just going to kick because the guy's been fighting forever. I thought he was
He's
gonna
the
kick my
black
head.
guy, right? I can't remember his name
Yeah,
though.
Larry Curtin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Larry Curtin?
And you headbutted him 800,000 times.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I have the world record and the UFC record for headbutts.
In one fight.
Oh,
In
just
that fight.
straight.
Let's show some of the
Nonsense.
let's show some of the
But
The
hits.
UFC will sue us. I don't think we can.
Oh,
show
yeah, we
them.
can't.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Dana White. Don't sue us. Sue
Yeah.
Christian.
They,
No.
but does they have any rights to those early fights or
Yeah, they
no?
bought all the rights. They have
Oh,
everything.
wow, I guess
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have you're a world record holder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
It for sure wasn't my best fight. It was
Yeah.
like that, but I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah.
I was like,
Interesting days these times.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That is
Good answer, Todd.
So after
That's amazing.
UFC 5, you obviously you kept doing it because you're still doing that stuff today. So where did you go from there? Because you weren't in any other UFCs. You went to Japan, right?
yeah, they
So
picked me up.
Pancrase, correct?
Yeah. That was the things. You wanted to get picked up to go to Japan.
Yeah.
Because was that Pride or
No, they weren't
it was,
around yet.
It was pre-Pride.
pre-Pride?
Pancrase.
Pancrase.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Pancrase.
Pancreas.
Yeah.
Isn't that something you want to punch to
I
hurt
believe
someone?
So.
Yeah.
So I get Ken Shamrock came from there, correct, and so did Boss Rutan,
Yep.
Frank Shamrock, most of the Lions.
You know what?
Big
It's okay,
fighters.
I'll send you a picture.
Please do.
Of all the American guys. It's so cool.
It's gonna be right here.
Yeah,
Yep.
that one.
We're gonna
That's
go.
like all. That's
There's some good photos I've seen with you in like the Carlson camp and all those dudes. Like we definitely will get those photos from you and post up some of these photos. So hopefully we can get to some of those stories too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be
So
a
that
nice
was
photo.
pre-Pride, and then Pride. You fought in Pride as well, or
no. I was. I don't know. I don't remember which country. I think I was fighting in Eastern Bloc.
Yeah,
Europe.
you had the belt from some Eastern Bloc thing, right?
Yeah.
And then the King of the Cage partnered with Pride, and then you were doing that. I'm sorry to tell you your own history.
No, I'm glad.
But
'cause
that's
I don't
when,
remember all that. But yeah.
That's when I was training with you, and we were together because this is a little fun one. So, the King of the Cage at the time was in Indian Casino in the Inland Empire.
I remember
And
that.
he was
Yeah.
the champion for those dudes
Yeah.
for a bit, and he would. For some reason, they wanted your students to kind of like be security and work the door, and me and Langley would always do it. I'd just let everybody in.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, come on in.
We have a plug with that company,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. We got to watch all these fights and like just cruised around and just let all our friends in, and it was
Yeah.
fun.
That's such a good time.
Yeah, that was a great time.
That could never happen again.
No,
And,
no, not at all.
wow.
So you fought in Pancrase for a number of years,
Yeah,
then
long time.
obviously. So from the mid '90s to
I don't
the
even remember. 2000s
early
maybe.
2000s, because that's
Yeah.
when King of the Cage and Pride.
Jumped in.
Would you when you fought in Pancrase? Is that what it's called?
Sure.
I'm not saying it right.
We'll have
No,
somebody
you're spot
Google
on.
and tell
You're
us
spot
how
on.
wrong we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you fight mostly Japanese opponents, or were you fighting whoever?
Japanese guys.
Because isn't that kind of what Pride did as well? Is they would match. I guess Pride would do whatever, right?
They
'Cause
would definitely
Pride
match
was
their superstars, like that guy Sakuraba up there.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
And
Sakuraba.
then Takada was like he was a pro wrestler.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
Hulk Hogan, I
Takada,
guess.
yeah, and he would lose every fight.
But
Takada.
he fought. He actually
Honorably.
fought Hickson Gracie. He fought Hickson Gracie. He fought Mark Coleman too,
Yes, sir.
I think.
Mark Coleman, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
Mark
good.
Coleman put him over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
But you would mostly fight other Japanese guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Japanese guys.
Who was
Did
who was the toughest guy you fought in Pancrase? Pancrase.
You know what? I don't even remember. It's the fights that I lost most of. Like the guys I won, I probably could not tell you who they're, other than Larry Curitin maybe. Like that really goes over. But the fights you lose, those ones stick with you.
Yeah.
But I really couldn't remember. Jimmy.
So you
you
won a
have
lot.
Good memory.
you have a decent memory when it comes to this stuff, because I was like so lived
Into it.
this.
Yeah, Jimmy was
For a
actually
long time,
really
yeah.
into it.
Yeah,
And I remember seeing you training all the time, and
yeah.
Jimmy
I was
used to
into
train
it.
he
all
was
the time.
yeah, you were
I
really
was actually gonna go. You were trying to set us up some Japanese fights, and I
Uh-huh.
jacked my ankle. Remember, it popped,
Yep.
and it swelled up instantly like grapefruit. And then that was probably the last time I did jujitsu.
Yeah.
Early 2000s.
Who popped your ankle?
I was
You-
rolling
were you-
with Tenori.
you're training
and
with
it
Pat.
Popped. Yeah,
Good old Tenori.
but I had bad joints. Exactly.
Pat.
I have bad joints from skateboarding. So it wasn't from anything that we were doing.
Yeah.
It just like popped.
Pop.
Like it hit weird and
Yeah.
popped and instantly swelled up. And I was like, didn't have insurance, didn't go to the hospital, just wrote it out.
Yeah, probably wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
killed your career, is what happened.
It might have saved my life.
I don't know. You might not be in this beautiful bus
That's
doing a
true.
podcast.
That's true. Yeah. But we got these stories, and Todd's here.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
some great stories. Yeah, Jim, you were full-time skating, full-time fighting.
Yeah, I was trying to. I was trying to do stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun. I was having a lot of fun. I was
Goodness.
young. Yeah.
Those were good times.
I didn't drop out of college and go to the UFC 5 though.
And
That
here's
was
the
young.
reason why there's probably more surfers that are successful at fighting than skateboarders.
What?
Because you're not always jacking up your legs and ankles when you're
just
surfing.
drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're building up your upper body strength,
Correct. That drywall
and
did that for me.
you're barely working your
yeah.
ankles and legs. I mean, a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I worked at Ruka with Pat Tenori and all those guys, I remember one time the Gracies all came in. It was Hickson and all the brothers. Hoist wasn't there, but
No.
I remember Hickson because I was intimidated because he was kind of the star of the Pride fights. And I was like, oh, man, Hickson Gracie's here. Ugh. And he came in. He's like, Pat, come on, let's go. We're going to Trestles. Like, you're coming with us. And Pat was like, hold on a second. And he said, Christian, I need to talk to you. So Pat pulls me into the room, and he's like, hey, I can't go. I got so much stuff to do. I got to get this thing done. Can you take all of them down to Trestles? Take the team van or whatever. And I'm like, the Gracies, you want me to
Wow.
you want me to take them? And it was like 10 guys.
Yeah.
They roll deep.
And I'm like, okay, I'm scared. You know, he's like, no, you'll be fine. That was the best time I ever surfed Trestles because I was surrounded by all
had
the.
to perform.
No, it was because Trestles is like a wave that you surf where it's just like there's 30 people and they're all trying to get the same wave at the same time. Yeah. But when you're with the Gracies, everyone kind of paddled away because they were like, hey, you know, like, and they were really big guys. Yeah. And they're like, you get waves, Christian? Good, go. You go now. And I was like, yeah, woo!
Yeah. Can we go back next week?
Exactly. Yeah. I actually caught waves, so it was good. Can they? Yeah, sure.
Board, yeah.
I mean,
I think Hickson
if
and
you can,
surf pretty
you
decent.
can catch. They caught waves and they were doing stuff on them, but it wasn't like, you know.
Not like you?
No,
not like me. I'm not that good either.
Slater
but yeah, like, you know, the guys doing airs and tricks and
we
snaps.
Todd off.
Anyway, sorry, Todd.
We'll talk about surfing, so it's okay.
But I was just saying that full-time skateboarding and full-time jiu-jitsu probably meant the end of your career because skateboarding's tough on your body.
That is true. Because I did have to stop doing, when I got hurt, I had to stop doing both.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But surfing's not as tough on your body. No offense, surfers. I know you're athletes.
Yeah.
But you're not jumping off buildings and landing on your ankles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow, that's,
Right.
good deep thought right there.
Well, I just... Thanks, Todd. Todd keeps helping me out.
Christian might have to start managing some fighters here.
Hey, see, I could do it.
No skateboarding fighters.
Yeah. You know?
Right.
Only surfing.
Guys, come on.
Get me some waves.
Think of your careers.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to Trestles.
Let's go surfing, but no skateboarding. Anyway.
Yes.
So you're fighting all over the world.
Fighting
then you guys met up.
Home, King of the Cage. Some various. You fought in Brazil too, right? You fought all over the place.
Yeah. I'm the only American with the first and the only American with Russian heavyweight title or Russian title at all in any weight class.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's Fedor's belt.
Oh,
whoa!
That one. Yeah.
You got Fedor's belt?
Yeah.
Did you have to take it and run? And
no, you know what? Because
did he vacate to go to Pride, or was he still in that organization?
It was right as he was coming into that organization. Yeah, because they tried to set that fight up a couple times with him and I, but for whatever reason, sometimes it doesn't happen for whatever reason.
You were trying to fight Fedor's brother for some reason, right?
Wait, Fedor's brother now, okay, correct me if I'm
Alexander?
wrong.
You're probably right.
He's the guy with the Grim Reaper holding a baby tattoo on his back.
The world's scariest tattoo.
He's so scary.
Yeah.
That is a scary fighter.
Yeah.
Can we get a picture? Can we get a picture of the tattoo?
Close your eyes, kids. Close your eyes.
Todd, you wanted to fight that guy?
Yes.
That's the kind of guy you hide in the closet and shake. Like, please don't kill me.
But not from a guy who dropped out of college.
That's
to
true.
Enter UFC 5.
And a guy
training.
who holds the headbutt record too. So
we got records. We got all sorts of records going on over here.
Mad props. That is awesome. So what? And then it didn't end up coming to fruition, or
well, they set it up, or could have been, but he's got hepatitis. And so that for sure was going to be a bloodbath, that fight.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, goodness.
What?
So
That's even crazier.
We've gotten so far.
Come fight me. Not only do I have scary tattoo, I have hepatitis. Yeah. That's gnarly.
Me and Pamela Anderson.
Is that for real?
What you got from Tommy Lee?
I think she did.
Okay.
It had to have come from Tommy Lee.
You had to have. America's Sweetheart. Canadian.
That's
Pamela
right.
Anderson.
No way.
Is she Canadian?
Tool Time Girl?
Oh, you know what? I think so.
Yeah, she's from Canada.
Yeah.
So America's Sweetheart.
Yeah. And Tommy Lee's from LA, so.
He's gross.
Yeah, it's
Correct. Who knows what else he gave her.
No offense, Tommy Lee. We want you on the show. World's best dad. Sorry.
Burn that couch.
That's right.
There's a lot of bleeps on that one, right?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Good call, Todd.
Potentially.
So you hold the Russian belt. Clearly, now you're teaching here around Southern California, and you're doing.
So you've been teaching for decades.
Yeah.
Obviously.
24 years.
Yeah.
When did you retire from actual fighting? Like no more
He's still
professional.
trying to fight Alexander.
No, I fought last year. But I can't.
Federer's brother?
Yeah.
You're still trying to fight him?
No.
He called him out a couple years. Was it a couple years ago?
Yeah, probably like 2 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Good memory again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You fought last year?
Yeah.
Where at?
Mexico.
So, is that where your son fought?
No, he fought up here. I wouldn't let him go down there.
Okay.
In Mexico City or
Mexico, Tijuana?
Just right.
Okay.
And I had sushi down there too.
Sushi?
If you can imagine that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was more exciting than the fight. I was like,
you almost lost that battle.
Yeah. I was like, oh. But I saw it, and one of the guys who was taking me around, I'm like, is that any good? He's like, oh, it's the best. I'm like, I got it. Like, who says they've had sushi in Tijuana?
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's do this.
Liars.
Yeah, liars. Yeah. But everything worked out okay.
It was
That's
good.
It was okay. Yeah, it was.
So he won that fight?
It was. Yeah. I won the fight and I got the sushi.
Came home with another belt.
Yeah.
So here's a question. It has not much to do with your career, but as like a, what do you call those type of guys?
Nerds?
A nerd.
Nerds?
Yeah, as a nerd who like, well, I like fighting, but I'm gonna stay over here.
I'm friends with Todd.
Before a fight, I know there's like you have a regiment of what you can eat and what you can do. Like, would you just the fight's at 8:00 and it's 4:00 in the afternoon. Let's go get some sushi, or is it a different kind of mentality, or are you restricting yourself from fighting? Because, I've seen videos of people like messing themselves up while they're fighting, or heard people that they didn't diet right or didn't do eat the right thing, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you talking about cutting weight, or what are we talking about?
No,
are you
just
trying
talking
to get
about
some tips from Todd?
No, well, I definitely need to cut some weight. I need to cut some weight. I'm coming to visit you.
Yeah.
Just like what's
so the day of the fight?
Yeah, the day of the fight. Like, how strict is it, and is it just you just stay on your same pattern of eating, or you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Am I making any sense?
I would assume it would vary from fighter to fighter, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, what's your take on it? Because a lot of dudes are nervous. A lot of dudes can't eat, right? And
yeah.
I've seen you backstage at the King of the Cage stuff, basically sleeping. So it doesn't seem like Todd would get nervous. I think I have a photo of you like sleeping on the floor, like waiting for your fight, like scary.
Yeah.
So again, what's your pre-fight, I guess, day looking like?
Like, it's changed so much through the years, because I always ate clean, but I would eat whatever, and then I was probably so overtrained by the day of the fight. Like Jimmy says, I would just crash out in the back, and then wake me up like half hour before I'm supposed to go on, and warm up a little bit, and we'd go.
Did you ever feel like, kind of, you get those 20-minute naps, and you wake up and you like don't know where you are, you get all groggy? You ever go into a fight like that, or not really? Because you warm up and get your blood flowing before.
You gotta warm back up.
Yeah. The Russia fight, though, because I was supposed to be the last fight of the night, and there was like a lot of mafia politics going on for that fight, because I was
There was
supposed
a
to
lot
leave.
of that stuff when you went in Japan too, right?
Yeah.
But
Very,
continue with the
very
Russian
serious.
one. Yeah.
So they pulled out, I was supposed to be the last fight, and then they put it to where I was like the third or fourth fight. I didn't warm up, but they just came in and said, hey, you're back up, or you're up. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, the same thing, I was just kind of drowned out sleeping.
Yeah.
And so I just put my stuff on and went with it.
Run out.
But like they had the
Ran out, got a belt.
Yeah, I'm right back with this.
Do you think that was like a political move? Like, hey, Todd's in the back. Wait. Hey, Todd is in the back. He's sleeping. Let's wake him up and make.
Russian in here?
Yeah.
That was nice.
I was an actor growing
I
up.
thought
So.
Putin was in here.
Vladimir.
Yeah.
So let's wake him up and make him go fight. Do you think that's kind of what happened, maybe?
Not to get off subject, but you could be a really good fight manager.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in.
You're like the White Don King, if I'm allowed to say that.
Hey, you should see me when I don't have a haircut.
see.
My hair can do that too, by the way.
Yeah.
I just cut it.
Yeah, there was like when you were doing it, especially in Japan, there was like the Yakuza was running Pancrase, right? Or running Pride, and actually not. I don't know about Pancrase. But
pretty much everything.
So
all
everything.
the fighters, they ran it.
Yeah.
They ran it.
Did you ever deal with any of those dudes? Like anything sketchy?
No, like either you're kind of on the A side, that you're with them, or you're not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was weird. Then this is a big deal when laptops or computers started coming out. They gave me some laptops, like just weird gifts. They was
the Yakuza.
They were always giving you gifts.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess when you're with them, you're with them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't
and then after
chop my
fights,
finger off?
yeah,
Yeah.
They were just like, you get paid, and they just push you like on the table like this, and they push your pay to you.
It was cash?
Yeah, always. Yeah, cash. It was very strange times. Never happened like that again, but very strange times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but probably they were giving you gifts because you had brought them a lot of success, I would assume.
Making them money.
They're betting on you. They're hedging the bets, and they're like, thank you, because that's very Japanese culture. Like, let's keep the goose.
Yeah, the golden goose.
Fed.
Let's keep them happy.
Yeah. Right.
Speaking
Right.
of-
Wouldn't you think?
Speaking of the betting on you, did you see anything, or did anyone approach you like, hey, you're not going to win this one?
Yes, and that's a big compliment.
I've heard a lot of that stuff with Pride and Pancrase went down, like the Yakuza. Yeah. So you have some stories with those that are you allowed to say?
Yeah. So I know a guy.
Uh-huh.
So like, say for example, we're going to give you $50,000 to fight.
Yeah.
And we'll give you another $50,000 if you lose.
That happened a few times.
Yeah.
I think it happened a lot back then.
Yeah. That was a big thing back then.
In Japan, particularly, or Russia and Japan?
Specifically Japan, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know why it was so big in Japan.
Yeah.
It's betting.
betting.
Yeah. It's got to be, because betting is a big part of that culture, even though they don't talk about it a lot. But just like even pachinko, like with the Yakuza own all the pachinko parlors, like it's a big deal, like because it's gambling essentially.
On every corner, right?
Yeah, every corner.
Everywhere.
Yeah, really popular, and it's kind of like something people don't talk about, but gambling's a big thing in Japan.
That and the underwear.
Betting on
machines,
that's why sumo's still a big thing. It's not like a
creeps.
It's not necessarily just because it's a cultural thing, like it's legendary sumo. It's bets. It's bets.
That's funny.
It's also there is some like cultural pride in it, because like when you had akebono or konishiki, some of those Hawaiian or Polynesian sumos rose to the top, and they wouldn't let them become the grand masters because they weren't Japanese.
Oh, really?
Even though they would win all the championships, they're like, nope, you can't become the grand master if you're not Japanese. So there still is a little bit of that pride in there, but it's all about gambling. It's all about gambling.
It's rare that you get to meet somebody that knows all this. Well, both of you guys have all this that's history going on.
I barely have anything.
It's the nerd glasses.
Right, that's really cool.
But hey, speaking of management, if you need a manager,
no, I'm serious.
I do speak Japanese too, so.
Really?
Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
I can make that too. Yeah. So I was speaking Japanese as well.
So I'm throwing that out there. Anybody out there? Because Jimmy.
How long did you live there in Japan then?
No, I would just go stints.
You just go.
You go like every month though, right?
Yeah, like every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I do love Japan though.
Right.
Would you mostly fight in the south or sometimes fight in the north too? Because I know they travel around. There's like different fights.
Different places.
Yeah.
My friend Tom Cruise fought all over there as well.
Did he really?
He was a shogun, I believe.
Oh.
Wasn't he the last samurai?
He was a samurai.
I heard about that guy.
Yeah. So every 6 weeks you were over.
Yeah. Go a lot.
But
not to get off subject though, because Jimmy used to manage skaters, skateboarders, right?
Yeah.
So between the
herding
two,
cats is what I was doing.
We would be a good management company. Yeah.
Because I tell you, coming from a fighter, even though I've just met you, Christian, that you can trust Jimmy 100%, and these guys together. Yeah.
I'm very trusting, right? And he's got great energy, Todd.
Yeah,
I'm definitely trustworthy, but if you would have asked Jimmy if I was a few years ago, he wouldn't have agreed.
I think you were trustworthy. You just weren't a hard worker, Christian.
It's because I was saving my energy for the right battles.
For the Aquabats tour.
That's true.
All right, so
anyway,
we're starting a management business out of this podcast.
Yeah, together.
Absolutely, Todd.
Yeah,
you're in.
And you're the face of the company, though.
We could do this
because we're not getting any fighters without you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
You vet the fighters. You figure out who's good and who wants to be on the team. Yeah. And we'll manage the team, and we'll take them out. We'll do the deals.
Yeah.
We'll lock up the right lawyer because we got to get an attorney. That has to be the fourth person. I got a guy too.
Okay.
He also tints windows.
I don't know if you want Better Call Saul on the case of the series.
No, we should talk about this afterwards. I'm serious, guys. You heard it here first.
This podcast is about starting a business.
This is World's Best Dads provide for their children.
Yes.
Speaking of which, you're a dad.
Yes, sir.
And I can tell that's your pride and joy, right?
Yeah,
I mean, being a dad is probably the greatest thing you've done in your life. Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean,
more so.
That headbutt record was nice.
Headbutt record. That's a close second.
But
right?
Tanner,
Let's talk about Tanner. Let's talk about your son.
Great kid.
So he's been in this game. Well, because I was fighting heavy full time when he was born.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been in like back then in every.
He was in the little stroller at his school. Like I've known Tanner since he
was he coming out to the Indian casino fights too, or?
Unfortunately, he did go to one of those.
Did he?
Yeah. So it was he went. I ended up. It was kind of supposed to be a surprise, which it was, but like like no rules fighting. Like back then, you could get down with some stuff. They would let you do some stuff. But yeah, so he's seen it all.
So what happened?
I think I got a big gash or something.
And you were just bleeding all over, and he was just a little kid, so he was probably a little freaked out, right?
Okay. Well, here's the deal, because I was out there. We took Big Jimmy Ambrose, so we had this super.
I remember that dude.
Yeah, he was this super heavyweight, like king of the cage, the strongest fighter on the planet.
Was that when that dude Tim Obaki?
Oh, Obaki.
Yeah, when he was training with you for a minute and he was fighting.
Yes.
That was the same time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
So I'd taken Jimmy out there it was out in Palm Springs, so it was like 200 degrees.
Oh yeah.
Being on the sun.
Yeah.
And so,
it still is.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Still is.
This weekend it was.
Yeah.
Goodness, yesterday, how hot was it,
Yeah.
right?
So hot.
Even here.
Yeah. So you took Jimmy Ambrose out there?
So we check him in, he weighs in, and we put him in his room, his hotel room, and my Shawnee, my assistant coach,
Sean Echegoyen, right?
Yeah,
so
Echegoyen.
you know...
Yeah, I know Sean.
You know Sean,
Oh,
right?
no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Shawnee and I went into town to grab lunch, and I don't drink, and that's whatever, but I had a beer.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that's how those things...
Yeah, it got wild.
But anyway, I wasn't trained in this way, so anyway, they called me and say, hey, Toddy, the main fight, one of the guys pulled out. You going to take it or whatever? I'm okay. So I'm like, sure, why not? And so anyway, I ended up losing the fight. And that was the fight Tanner went to, my son. So I was like, oh, that's what I get for drinking.
You lost and you got a bloody face.
Yeah. That's not
How old was he at the time?
He was probably like 2, 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was little.
But that's definitely an age where he knows, like, Dad's hurt.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
But he's been in the game. That kid knows. Yeah. I was teaching UFC for a while. And
at that gym.
But at the same time, let's think about samurai Bushido like psychology for a second, okay? Your son, your 2-year-old, 3-year-old son comes to a fight. To you it's just like a last minute fight. You're like, "Oh well, I lost, whatever." But your face is all bloody. He's like, I don't want to say damaged, but he's like thinking about this.
Freaked out.
Oh my gosh, my hero, my dad. He's hurt and he's lost.
Yeah.
Right there, you cemented him as a warrior. Like he's like, I will avenge my father. Right? Don't you think?
Wow, Christian.
I think so. Like at that young age, he was like, that's what I'm gonna do. My path is clear. I will avenge my father. And he's still avenging you every time he goes out there. That's got to be like feel awesome, like honor, like you know what I mean. As his father, if you think about it, he's fighting. He's avenging. He's like carrying on your name, but he's also avenging that loss. Probably every time he fights. Don't you think?
So good.
I know I would if I saw my dad like, because I live with my dad. I'm 3 years old and he's a wrestler and he gets a full Nelson and gets slammed. That's an illegal move in freestyle. Hey, and he's bloody. Oh no, and he loses. Man, that's it. I'm going into wrestling. I'm gonna avenge my father.
See, that's what I did with ice cream. I saw my dad eat a banana split. Couldn't finish it. Too many scoops.
And then once your career ended in fighting, it was ice cream.
Split town.
You split town, banana split town. Anyway, I think that's pretty cool. Like, and he fights all the time now, right?
No, he did. We put the brakes.
Oh, he's not fighting anymore.
No.
So he stopped.
Yeah.
But you guys are in business teaching now.
Yeah.
Together.
Well, he does all this social media, SEO, all this computer stuff.
Yeah.
Nerd. Huh?
Yes.
Search engine optimization. That's good. That's a huge. That's big money. Like that's good if you get into that. That's a good thing.
That sucker's so busy with that right now.
It's a big business. Big business.
So that's his.
That's good though.
I prefer him doing that than
right.
But he dabbled in the fight world because he has a few fights.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I want to say he's 4-0. He could be 3-0.
And all of those 3-0. That's like 3 wins. 3 avengements of his dad.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. That's amazing.
I
mean, me as a dad, thinking about my kids, thinking about like when they go play soccer or they skateboard or they do something and they excel at it, you can't help but be so. It's not pride. It's just like it's emotional almost.
Yes,
you know, you feel so good. Like
Yes,
you know, I'm going back to just being a dad. Like fighting is like it's almost like the apex of those type of emotions because it could go wrong.
Yes,
like
sir.
you could get
Real
really
bad.
hurt.
And it did that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just for him, but for his son, for Tanner.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
For Tanner, as now he's the warrior, and you're the dad. It's like you'd run through a brick wall for your kid, but watching him do the
Goodness.
same for you, it's like that's got to be super emotional, right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
It's bad when these guys fight. I'm saying with Jimmy as well. Like it's like it's the worst. It's way more taxing on my nerves.
Yeah.
And then for my son to do it, I was like, oh, like working his corner. I was like, oh. Do I really have
How
to
was
do
that? Like the conversation. I'm assuming he's been training since he was a baby, ultimately. So it's like you probably knew he was going to at least dabble in it or check it out. But how was that first conversation of like, hey, we could get you a fight, or we have a fight lined up? Like, how was that for you? And what was his side of it? Like, obviously he was excited probably to tell you, or you told him there was one available. Like, how did that roll out?
Yeah, he came to me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because he's avenging you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opinion. That's my opinion.
And it's a fact.
And it's true.
It's a fact.
I don't think I would have ever asked him.
Yeah.
Right? Right? As a dad,
Yes, sir.
like you don't want your kids to get hurt.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want your kids to do to fulfill their passions and do what they want to do, and you want to help them. You want to help them do it, right?
100%.
But you got to feel conflicted about that. Like, but he could
Totally.
get really hurt.
No, Dylan, this banana split's dangerous.
Right? I think that's rad. That's
Yeah.
so cool and emotional. Like, I mean, just thinking about it in your place, it's like that's emotional, like,
Yeah.
right?
Very.
So he
Right.
came to you with the fight.
Yes,
So
sir.
how does that roll out, and like your emotions and your obviously it's your son, it's your baby.
Baby. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so,
my dude.
like-
Yeah.
Like
The first one, he was like 16 when he fought.
in Mexico, right?
Well, this was here. I was putting a
Oh,
fight because
okay.
I used to throw a ton of fights. But I was throwing a fight here. Sorry, I was getting sidetracked. I was throwing a fight here, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, can I get in on this?" And I was like, "Oh." I go. So if I can find the right guy or whatever, there's somebody around your age.
Yeah.
You know, let me see what I can do. And unfortunately, we found somebody, and this guy already fought like 5 times. I'm like,
Oh, he really?
yeah.
So he had a ton
Wow.
of experience.
Yeah, so he was
so that's
way
even
more-
more like
yeah.
gut wrenching,
Yeah.
probably. Like, ugh.
So, but like all of, and when I say you guys, I'm talking with Jimmy too. Like, because I was trying to, like Jimmy said, I was trying to get these guys fights in Japan.
Yeah.
Because it was a good time for that. So when I say you guys, it's them. Like it's like I try to look out for them. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm old Mother Hubbard with
Yeah.
these guys. So
Well, they're kind of like your kids,
100%.
right?
Yeah. Yes, sir, Christian.
Yeah.
So, but he hit me up for it, and I said okay. So he did it, and he came out victorious. He got a little cut up here and there, but he did really well, and that was that.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then he fought a couple more times.
Yeah, he fought in a big arena, like the Ontario Sports Arena or something, and they have like legitimate WWE, like
Oh,
UFC
great.
fights there. It's like a legitimate
What organization was
King of
it?
the Cage.
Oh, okay.
So
Crazy.
they were real cool about it, and
Yeah.
they thought, okay, well, we're just gonna keep him in this, and
Mhm.
you know, work that angle.
Yeah.
So, but after that one, I was like, oh, we'll just pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
So was it a mutually decided that he was gonna kind of chill out, or was it more like Dad was like, all right, you need to just
Yeah.
go into a different field?
Yeah.
So it was kind of your decision.
Yeah.
That's world's best dad right there.
It is.
Like, oh.
That's
good
smart.
dad in there, Todd.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh goodness. Because if you know, like most fighters, like or whatever, most fighters are good fighters, or people that really are heartful about it. Like I've had a really difficult life growing up.
Yeah.
And I tried to make it not like sugarcoat it too much, but so he didn't have to deal with so much. So he didn't grow up how like a typical
Yeah, he
fighter
didn't
should
have
grow
a
up.
rough upbringing
Yeah.
like you did.
Yeah.
So it's different for sure. Like I think Mike Tyson said stuff like that, like where he grew up, it was so rough, and he's like, I'm here to kill this person,
Yeah.
you know. And my kids, I think he's talked about that too. Like my son asked to box, and he's like, you've had it so nice, you know. And Tanner, obviously, you
Yeah.
gave him a great life, and
Yeah.
like you're still very much in his life, and you're an awesome dad with Tanner. So it's like he was probably given everything he wanted and pampered, and so it's like
Well,
absolutely a
you
different
know.
mindset
So, yeah.
than what you had when quitting college.
But Tyson,
and,
you got to admit, he's on a kind of a different level with his kids. So like,
but same with
not that you were
as
not
far as monetary,
successful,
monetary, and them being pampered.
They all had their own tigers and their own tiger nurses.
But exactly what Todd's saying.
Yeah.
He grew up. It's a completely different
Yeah.
generation,
Yeah.
different life. Yeah. Absolutely. And
Yes,
Tanner had it really nice here in Huntington Beach. I'm sure.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
But so now here's where we get into a crossroads here at the podcast, is talking about, you know, how you grew up, like, right? I mean, growing up, your upbringing, like how that. Let's get into it. Maybe it's up to you, but
no, I mean, not like Tyson, but like Tyson growing up with just my mom, or like a lot of, not from my mom, but abuse, and just like I've been around gun wars and drugs, and not me doing them, but like just
around
all
that
bad stuff. You think it just
people, probably because low income, like living situation,
very poor.
Yeah.
Where did you initially grow up? Here in California? In Santa Ana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So very gang prevalent.
Yeah.
What part of Santa Ana? No, not that anyone out there would know what we're talking about, but just because my office is in Santa Ana.
Oh, right on over.
Our management office.
Yeah,
our new headquarters. Yeah.
Which is much better in Santa Ana now.
Yeah.
Santa Ana's much nicer.
Yeah, and cheap.
Yeah,
it's still cheap.
Yeah, inexpensive.
Yeah.
On that one.
And the first thing of management is keep the expenses low,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Put
So
the-
we can
put
take
your
off the top
overhead-
and not tell everybody,
Put your
right?
overhead into yourselves.
Correct.
Right.
Oh, I like how
We're
you
gonna
guys.
get that yellow limo. Yeah, with the hot
The
tub.
school bus.
So was your dad wasn't in the picture?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since when did he split? Did you ever know your dad, or
No, not really. Like probably like 6 months before I was born, or right, the whole pregnancy kind of thing.
Oh,
But
so
have you ever hung out with him or met him?
Oh, here's a crazy story.
Yeah.
So
We wanna hear it.
So I'm turning 16. So my mom's like, he wants to take you to lunch, and I'm like, oh, not
He
really.
wants to take you to lunch.
Yeah.
This like guy that you don't even know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Man, that's rough.
So we go, this scar on my finger. Okay, I got this 3-inch scar on my finger. So she goes, okay, just go try it out. And I'm like, okay. So I meet him at this restaurant, and he's already toasted by the time I get there.
Man.
And
he had
so-
an alcohol issue.
A little bit, yeah.
That was my father
Yeah.
as well.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you went and met him for the first time?
No, I mean I've known him here and there a little
okay.
bit, but like I wasn't hanging out with him, or
Yeah,
didn't have any. So why my mom really, because he wasn't cool to her either. So but she said go, and I said go, give it a shot. But have you ever, either one of you, Mexican finger wrestled?
No.
I'm not sure.
You're going to have to teach us how,
So
and teach our viewers and listeners.
He basically broke your finger off?
Yeah. So if you go, well, okay, Christian, so
Okay,
your
go.
middle finger.
Yeah.
You do it on Christian.
Yeah.
I like
okay,
this.
so kind of.
Yeah.
Now make a fist.
Oh, yeah,
now,
yeah.
Now please, you go slowly. You go one way, and I go the other way.
Twist this way.
And then somebody's going to say uncle soon enough.
Oh, I see.
So we go like
Someone's
this. He's
finger
like, let's
snapping.
finger wrestle.
Yeah.
So even before I get to like make a fist, he goes snap. And next thing you know, my finger's sticking straight up with the bone sticking out of it.
In his defense, he's very competitive, and he wanted to win. He wanted that win.
Whoa.
That's
Gnarly.
insane. So it popped a compound break and popped
Yeah.
your bone out.
Yeah,
That's
it was all
gnarly.
messed up.
Yeah.
So that's it. Just
Hey, good seeing you, Dad.
Yeah.
Good. You want to grab lunch? You want to pick up the bill?
We're
Like-
good here. Yeah.
I can't pick it up because I'm broken.
Yeah.
What?
Wow,
That's messed up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of the good stories, or better ones. But I like telling that one because people always ask, "How'd you get that scar on your finger?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh,
My dad gave it to me.
yeah, 16th birthday party present." Good thing.
How's
Great
your
things.
mom?
She's not with me.
She's
anymore.
passed
Thanks.
away?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
thanks
how-
for bringing that up.
Yeah,
hey, you want to bring
thanks.
mine? Mine's gone too.
Well, I know
Let's
your
throw
mom
that out
passed
there.
away.
No, but I
but
appreciate
was she with you through?
Yeah, she
To
hit
see
me up all
you-
the time. She's like, "Hey, please don't fight. Please don't fight." Like all the time. I'll pay you. Don't go fight. I'm like, "No, I'm good."
So
And
she was bummed. That's
Yeah,
what we're
and
saying.
then here she hits me with this one right before she's like on her deathbed. She's like, "Not once did you ever say thanks, Mom, after you won a fight." And I was like, "Oh, you got to hit me with that?
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Just give me the guilt complex about not
Ouch.
fighting."
Ouch.
Yeah,
because she wasn't a fan of you fighting.
fighting. Yeah,
I don't think most moms would
Moms
be.
are, yeah, it's hard to sell
'Cause
mom.
well,
over.
how's Tanner's mom? Isn't right? Or,
No, she's not.
Yeah, I
the
wouldn't
happiest
have,
about
couldn't
it.
imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I get moms. I still even have older guys that fight, and the moms will come to me like, "Hey, does he have to?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "I didn't
What
talk
are
him
you
into
doing to
this."
my boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh goodness.
Yeah.
Then after we talk for a minute, they'll be okay. But yeah, I haven't met one mom that's really like, "All right, let's go."
Go get him.
Right.
Yeah, and I've got some rough moms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if this next generation might be a little bit different because even with like skateboarder, like like park parents like getting their kids into things younger, and UFC is so popular. That might be the next generation of parents might be like, yeah, our son's
Jimmy, that's
this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, as it gets more and more popular.
Which means we got to scoop now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to scout scout the younger ones.
Yeah.
Which is weird about skateboarding and fighting as well, because when we were kids, there was no parents at the skate park.
No.
It was, or there wasn't in skate parks. It was us going down alleyways.
There was a couple, but my parents weren't there.
There's no parents.
That's for sure.
But now you go to skate parks and there's like,
coaching.
Hey, land that ollie. Come on. You know how to do that trick.
Yeah.
There's like little league dads and moms, which it could be cool, but there's kids like really young getting really good really fast. And it'll be the same way for MMA, right? I would think.
I think so.
Those little kids. I got 4-year-olds I'm teaching.
Yeah.
So through that and through just life and being around gangs and things like that, that's where the fighting comes in.
UFC,
right?
like No Rules UFC, like that was, I'm like, oh, I was made
that
for
was
this.
your calling, right?
Yeah. Like I use this saying a lot, like built, not born, but I was like born and bred for this stupid, well, not stupid, but for this sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and now like guys come back from the war, which I used to train a lot of Marines, veterans and stuff like that. But like, what do you do after you come back from a war? You're going to get like a desk job? Like,
totally.
What do you, like, it's very difficult. So like us, a handful of us that are still around, and I'm probably the most active no rules fighter. Like, I don't know anybody that gets after it like I do. Like,
from back in the day.
Yeah. Like, I could go fight. If you give me like 4 weeks, I could be ready for a fight.
Yeah.
So, because I'm still training with like 20, 25, 30-year-old men. Like, we get after it. Like,
you were absolutely in that first generation of MMA no rules fighters. Like, it was like you were fighting on a card with Hoist and Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, you're absolutely right. Who else out of that generation is still
I see guys that
wanting to do it or doing it, you know, like
do it. Yeah.
Realistically, like I can't even name a dude from that's
still doing
first
stuff.
generation that is still willing to fight or still fighting, because you fought recently.
Most of them are just training. Right?
Yeah, because
they're
just
running
all
schools.
They're not
broken.
even training.
Really?
I mean, some of these guys that started like 15 years after me look like they're 100 years old, and like I'm like, what? They can't even talk. And
But you didn't really party though, right?
No, like we spent most of the time just trained. Like
that's
always
probably
training.
the big difference.
Yeah.
You know,
like
that's a huge difference.
Yeah,
that's just terrible for your body.
Ruins your body, and then on top of that, getting punched in the face
doesn't help.
Yeah,
no,
does not help.
Right.
Yeah.
So just a crazy, just really weird how things worked out.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're about going into college, and you come across the UFC tape, and that was it, right?
Got a page.
Yeah, I'm in.
Saw the tape.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you were doing Jeet Kune Do, and then you eventually met Ken and started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Was that before you went into that fight or after?
No, before.
Okay, so
before.
So you had probably 3 hours of Jiu-Jitsu training, basically.
Wow.
Like, okay, if you get here, just pass the guard here and then headbutt.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah,
man. Then we gotta go. I want to go watch those fights now. I'm like all amped up.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot of your fights on YouTube and on the internet.
So. Yeah, Christian.
Right. Yeah, I'm in. Okay. I'm back in.
Yeah.
So let's talk about.
Let's talk about the management company.
That's true. Our management company. I'm serious.
Come on, dude.
Let's talk about Cauliflower Nation, because some of our.
Is that the name of our business?
That's on his shirt.
Oh, that's your thing. Okay.
Is that something that you're doing, or a friend's company?
No, it's a friend of mine's company.
Okay.
So I try to.
We can pump it, right?
Yeah.
Do they want to sponsor the show? Because we're looking. We're actively looking for sponsors every show.
We don't really have cauliflower.
Well, we could just. That's easy. We just start punching ourselves in the ears. Let's talk about cauliflower ear for a second, okay? Because there's a lot of nerds like myself that probably want to know the process of developing that.
How can I give it to myself so I can look tough, right?
No. But how does it? How does
people do that?
Yeah,
I've seen that. Like, people are trying to do it so it looks like, oh, that guy. Don't mess with him. He's
tough.
Train.
Yeah, it's a thing now.
Yeah, that's funny.
So cauliflower ear is something that happens to your ears when you just
wrestle.
roughed them up a lot, right? It's
like
from wrestling.
Friction and headbutts,
and
or not headbutts.
Is
but
that why,
maybe,
like
right?
in freestyle wrestling, they have those the headgear, right?
100%.
So when you see people freestyle wrestling, they have the headgear that cups your ears.
Yeah.
Right.
So they
right.
don't get the
Yeah,
cauliflower.
So they don't get the cauliflower
The
ear.
blood gets in and it can't get out, so it coagulates. And then,
But you could drain it, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about draining your ears because that's something that the people want to know about.
I've seen you drain them at your
Okay,
the
so
school where
let's
it's
let Todd
Yeah,
explain how
and it
it
is
works.
ugly.
How does it work?
So you get preferably the smallest needle you can get, but like you get too small, then it won't come out. So you have to get a fairly good sized needle, and you have to find the pocket. But there's a nerve that goes down your face. So if you do it wrong,
Facial nerve.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
You'll lose feeling out of your face.
Right.
You have to have somebody that knows how to do it, but you have to find the pocket just perfect and get that needle in there and just
slowly
draw,
pull it out.
slowly draw it out. But the thing is, so you
Wait,
get
so you're sucking it out, or
Yeah.
you're just letting it drain?
No, you're
sucking
sucking
it.
it
Yeah.
into that.
Oh,
syringe.
so it's like a syringe,
Yeah.
and you're pulling it
Yeah.
out. Wow,
I would
that's
assume
amazing.
that you could potentially poke it and then squeeze it out, but then it'd get everywhere. So that's why you're using the
Ah,
syringe,
not like
right?
you would think, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you would still, and there's sometimes a couple different pockets, or you stick it in, you don't hit the pocket, so
Well,
you got to put it in
for
again.
dudes like you though, there's hard ones already, so it's probably hard potentially to find like this fresh,
Yes,
this
sir.
fresh blood
Yeah.
A fresh
pocket.
pool
So-
pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I got to
Yeah.
dry well. It's like
So-
that the oil, fossil fuels,
right.
right? Is some dry up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that oil stuff.
Yeah, the oil stuff.
I'm by no means a tough guy, obviously,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
but my experience with the facial nerve comes because, like, when I was in a skateboard contest and I hit my face with the skateboard, so like this was like a hole that I put in my face, and I could stick my tongue through it. But I went to the doctor later, and they said that I missed my facial nerve by like a centimeter or something.
You know what
And they
else
said
they
if I
missed?
would have cut it, it would have like given because if you
Christian.
sever that facial nerve,
Yes, sir.
you can't. It's basically kind
Oh,
of like
really? You'll be droopy?
yeah, you
Yeah.
have the
Yes.
droop. You
That's
get the
crazy.
droop. Yeah.
You know what else?
I almost got the
missed
droop.
by an inch. Your
my
eye.
eye.
my
That's
friend.
right. Miss my eye by an
Christian
inch.
was a child actor. He was in Pretty in Pink. His line in there, "You missed my eye by an inch."
And then she
For
says
real?
half an inch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
There was it half an inch?
anyway, she
I
said
screwed
no.
up the
She
line?
said that
Oh.
the lady.
Yeah, okay.
The actress. So. Yeah,
That's true,
I
that's true.
I grew up. My parents moved us to L.A. when we were kids and got us into acting. We were like
They wanted
actor
that money,
kids.
Todd.
My kids, maybe
Yeah.
that's why it's like it flows through me. But my parents were managers of the kids, and they put us to work, right? Which eventually led to them splitting up.
Oh, sorry to hear
Fighting
Because-
over your money.
Yeah,
Your McFlurry
something
money.
like that.
Yeah.
So we all had interesting backgrounds.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Christian, did you see that movie Gleam in the Cube? He was in that, and that's how we met. He came and skated my
very cool.
ramp, and somebody said, "The guy from Gleam in the Cube is coming over."
Yeah.
That's how we met.
Anyway,
Oh, okay. That
Worst day
explains
of
about
my
your
life.
energy because you have like high.
Yeah, shady scumbag, used car salesman.
no.
Yeah.
I get excited like about stuff. I'm really excited to talk to you. So
Oh, back at you. Thank you.
yeah, that's cool.
Like,
I am.
I know.
And also, we also just ate a bunch of candy before you came over, so I'm also excited
Yeah.
about candy.
So what were we saying? The cauliflower,
oh,
right?
Yes.
So
yeah.
draining
Draining
that
it.
stuff,
Yes.
And eventually, it just
Just gets hard.
if you don't drain it.
Yes.
it gets
Yeah.
But
hard.
the thing
and
is, if you drain it, like you have to take maybe 2 weeks off, so it doesn't fill back up.
Ah,
Because
yeah.
the second
Oh, well,
you work on it,
instantly.
it'll
Oh.
just blow back up.
Uh,
So if you have a fight,
or
coming up.
even training, right? You
Yeah.
can't train very
you can't do
hard.
anything. No, you can't. Like once your blood pressure gets up, it just wants to swell.
Whoa.
so would it be better to not drain it if you got to fight, like not to drain it? But then it's crazy sensitive.
Yes, sir.
Right,
Like
so-
the wind blows.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Of
we're
course.
talking about cauliflower right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cauliflower.
yeah, that's true. If you you have to take time off, but if you have a fight, you can't.
You can't.
Yeah. And so you just kind of learn to deal with it, and then it just gets hard.
And it hurts.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
oh goodness. And then you got to put the headgear on, or just deal with it.
But that still hurts even with
Yeah,
the headgear
yeah.
because it's in there rubbing on the
Stuff.
headgear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we used to train and still do real hard, so it doesn't like if like we had one guy, Jimmy Ambrose, he was like 320,
Yeah, he was
330.
a giant person.
Yes, the
Yeah.
world's strongest fighter. And so he sticks your head in the fence and then is punching you in the head or and it's just or resting his elbow on it. It's just
Yeah, because
Burns.
it's not like if you're training for a fight, you can't like, hey, let's go easy. Like, no, you need to get in shape. And
Right.
You need to be put in these bad positions to get ready for
Yeah.
this fight. So,
Yeah.
It's not a fun situation.
Exactly. Yeah. And we were the people would show up on the weekends, but specifically Sundays, we would have open mat, so other people would come from different schools to train, and some of them would just like hear these stories because there was no internet back then.
Yeah.
Like, of how hard we used to go, and they'd show up and be like, "Oh, it's worse than what we heard."
The legend is real.
Yeah. We just get crazy because we had the first.
You guys had a cage in there.
Yeah, the first cage in at least Southern California, and then we had a big mat to train on. But that cage got used like nobody's business. It was,
awesome.
Some good fights in that thing. So yeah, that's where the cauliflower ear comes in. If you're gonna, like, it gets me out of so many fights. Like, I don't know why. Like, people go, "Oh, you're so intimidating looking," and I'm like, "What? Whatever." But like, more people. For what reason getting my Cheerios? Why, I don't know. And then they'll like look at my ears or whatever and be like, "Oh, God,
never mind, bro.
Yeah.
You're lucky, bro." Yeah. I got an appointment. I just remembered.
I don't want to mess your ears up anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys.
How's that work out with your kids?
My son is a smart aleck. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. I like it though. That's our interaction. He's a teenager now, so that's all he does. He's like, "I don't even like you," and then he puts me in a headlock and gives me a noogie, and I love it.
That's so good, right?
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I love it because when I was a kid, I wasn't messing around with my parents.
Not
like, at that age, not at all. So I love it. I love that he that's his
a good
way
story.
he shows affection to me is calls me a nerd and he calls me a goblin on a regular basis.
Wow.
You goblin. And then he'll put me in a headlock and give me a noogie.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh.
That's
You gotta
cool.
like that, Christian?
Yeah. My kids, we get along pretty good.
Yeah, you
I
got a
think
great
our
relationship.
generation with our kids, I definitely think we learn from maybe the past generation's mistakes because I feel like we're a lot closer to our kids than our parents were.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, with your parents,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But even just my parents, it was kind of like, go do your thing. We're gonna do our thing. You guys are kids. We're adults.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll meet up someday and we'll be friends or something.
Watching Gloria right now.
Yeah,
go play.
We're busy watching TV.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
But we
sir.
bonded a little bit with my dad when I was kids. But I go skateboarding with my kids, and I play soccer with them. I never played soccer growing up, but I could go run out there with them and try to play. And
get winded real quick.
the one thing that does
Yeah.
kind of get on my nerves, and I kind of tease them about it, and I think they're sick of it, is the video games. I spend a lot of time trying to get them to not play video games, because I don't really want to play with them video games. I want to go out and run. Let's go run or skateboard or let's do something physical, but because you really, when you release endorphins and you exercise, I don't exercise very much.
You look
But if I could go have fun with my kids and be releasing endorphins and being physical, that's fun. Like even just messing around, rolling around, wrestling. My youngest son, Russell, he's 11, but he's pretty big. Like he's a big kid, really thick. And we just will wrestle and push him around.
That's cool.
He slaps me around. He's real physical with me. Like if I'm not paying attention, I'll get one in the back of the head, or he'll tackle me sometimes, and he can tell it makes me mad. Like kind of like really, because he'll catch me off guard, and he'll just run away laughing. But I like that. Like it's fun.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I could never have done that to my dad. Just like walked up behind him and slapped him in the back of the head.
Tackle him
Like,
or smack him.
yeah. Even if I was joking, he would have got
Totally.
bumped. Like just different generation.
Hey, what?
But I like
Give me
that.
a belt.
I like that.
Yeah. You want something to cry about?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've
Right,
heard that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah. Right. But, it's just different generations. But
Totally.
I'm glad that we're able to be close with our kids.
Yeah.
Right? And you are too, still, right?
Yeah. Well, we live together.
That's
I see that
awesome.
little sucker every day.
Yeah, that's so
That's
rad.
the bet, yeah.
You guys have such a good relationship.
Yeah. It's weird how parents like, okay, you're 18, you better get out, or whatever. Like
Yeah,
I love hanging out with my kid.
Totally. That's weird to me too. Like, all right, time to go.
Right.
Time to go.
What's that?
We're planning on our kids staying with us forever.
Right. I'm cool with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I would like them to not be bums and achieve stuff and all right, go to school, and if you're going to get a job, do that stuff. But I would love for them to be around. Live in the same city at least, and see them.
Maybe
and
they could pay rent too.
now we're talking.
Yeah.
I can get out of rent. Yeah. It's time for you guys to get jobs.
Your time.
Yeah.
Stay here, but
Yeah.
you guys pay.
Yeah, but you guys pay for it all.
yeah.
And guess what? I need some new paints. Let's go to Old Navy. Yeah.
I'll buy the banana splits.
Perfect.
When you were obviously we as dads and humans, we learn kind of wisdom as we get older. Hopefully we make it through our youth and we don't ruin ourselves to get to the point where we can look back or look at what's going on with that kind of wisdom. Like if someone comes up to you on the street, it'd be better if you ran away, even though you could wipe the floor with some guy. It'd be better if you just...
Well, that's why he went into UFC 5.
Right.
Because he didn't run.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what got you into fighting.
Yeah.
It's just rushing into it, right?
Yeah.
Being a kid. But that's just interesting to think about, that, you go through your mistakes as a youth and hopefully you get through it. But, I mean... You
rise above certain I guess, triggers that would have set you off in the past while you... Like, oh, what? Then you're straight to punching a guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a concern about the social media generation, is like sending people like critiques and throwing this out and giving yourself this kind of false sense of superiority. Like, I know more because I read more books or whatever.
Yeah,
and but there's no immediate like, wow, I made a mistake. There's no, you pick a fight with somebody that doesn't fight back. You aren't right.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So you're like you're picking fights with people that you're not actually going to get hit by. So it's kind of like you're building up this
no repercussions,
false sense, and then you see people rushing into situations that they're like totally outgunned for, whatever. It's a little bit nervous, makes me nervous about our kids' generation,
our next generation.
Yes, sir.
Because there's all these superior keyboard warriors that have never been punched in the face, right?
Yeah, there's I don't know if you've seen that. Mike Tyson said something about that. If there's what you're saying, like people wouldn't be talking so much trash on keyboard warriors if they ever got punched in the face yet, or the mouth. Whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We've talked about this several episodes ago when we were kids, like, and especially with skateboarding. They were older generation of skateboarders. Like, there was etiquette. You're not saying certain things. You're not even snaking them, going in front of them. Like, you're waiting your turn to do certain things, or you would get.
And
like,
the people that
dudes, right? Skateboarders were.
Yeah.
And if you were,
that was like common for.
Yeah, and not just skateboarders, but
exactly.
I grew up in North Hollywood, and there was gangs all over the place, and like, if you were mouthy to anybody
or a surfer,
words would get around like that kid over there is mouthy, and people would come after you, like people you didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know you. I don't care. I heard you're mouthy. Bam, you'd get punched in the face. Like you would get jumped, just because if you talked trash to somebody or made somebody look dumb. And that kid had a brother, and that kid had a sister, or like, you had to watch your P's and Q's as a kid, or you would violence would happen to you.
Yeah.
And we all got punched in the face as kids. I got jumped a few times.
Yeah. And nothing you could do about it.
You couldn't do anything about it. But
you could either get your friends or handle it yourself, or get your friends to try to help, or you're just like, nah.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
I guess I'm going to stay away from those dudes.
And you also could see that by going back and trying to get revenge, there was no end, and it ended when someone was in a box, pretty much. Right? Because you saw that with gangs, like, oh, this guy got jumped, let's go get those guys that jumped him, and then it would just keep going and going and going until someone would pull out a gun, and so you just would just be like, all right, I just got jumped, my face is bloody, but I'm gonna go home and eat some ice cream.
Things aren't that bad.
I'm still alive. I'm still alive.
Yeah.
But you learn not to be mouthy. You learn not to like critique people. You learn to just observe and report. Right? Just chill.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's spot on.
This is why he's on our management team.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, then that's something we want to instill in our kids, and I think you've done a great job, obviously, with Tanner. And our kids don't have to deal with that too much, but
I think our kids are different.
They get it.
I think they get it. Absolutely. They're still this generation, but I think our kids, just because of our involvement and our talking to them, I think they're different than some of these other keyboard warrior types.
Yeah, I would bet.
Yeah.
I bet the bank on that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Keyboard warriors.
Dear Christian, I didn't like your neoprene wetsuit for the Aquabat show this time.
I don't know how you guys could be talking about fighting. That's so rude. It's like, well, it happens. Yeah. So sorry. Anyway, really awesome talking to you. Great meeting you.
I appreciate your time.
And we're
Thanks
totally.
For the opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not joking about the fight management thing.
We'll talk about
There's
that.
Cheesy people out there.
Yeah.
I said it first. I said some, but coming from me first.
We'll really talk.
That would be
Yeah.
actually.
It'd
I'm
be
really
fun.
interested. It'd be really fun.
Yeah.
It would be really fun.
I love being around Todd, so if I get a
we'll
chance
get-
to work
yeah,
with
yeah.
Todd, I'd be stoked.
Hey, and maybe we'll get back in the gym.
Oh,
Can we eat ice cream in
Hey.
the gym?
yeah. You could, you
Jimmy
could do.
Hey.
Gymmy. Jimmy Arriggy.
I'm gonna.
Right?
I don't even know what you spelled. You want to wrap it up? You want to sign it out?
Providential. Yeah, go
You
ahead.
want to thank anybody?
We want to thank
Yeah.
some of our sponsors, Igloo Coolers.
Igloo Coolers.
Igloo
For real.
Coolers.
Right
Yeah.
on.
And I don't have. I'm gonna give you one next time I see you.
We need to give them an
World's
Igloo-
Best had Igloo
yeah.
Coolers.
Igloo
Yeah.
Coolers. We also want to thank
Left Coast Novelties.
Left Coast
our
Novelties.
friends. Left Coast Novelties. Humble Maker Coffee Co. We'll get you some coffee too. I have some in the fridge.
Very cool.
Do you drink coffee?
I live on it.
He lives on it. Humble Maker. He's gonna love it. Right.
And our soon-to-be management company.
You don't want to thank Wiener Schnitzel?
Oh, we can thank Wiener Schnitzel, but
Yeah. Thank you, Wiener Schnitzel. We got to thank John Jay.
and John J.
Jay.
Rambo.
Hey, yo, they're good podcast. Hey, Todd, thanks for showing my brother Frank around. You know.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Frank. You got
Hey.
okay. Real quick before
Yo,
we
Are we getting a
fly
Frank
out,
Stallone story?
we're gonna get a
Oh.
quick Frank Stallone.
I guess we're
story.
not ending it, guys. Frank Stallone story.
So we go to a hockey game up at the Staples Center, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I just found this out last minute that Frank Stallone was going. I was like, oh, cool. You know, like I'm a fan. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's cool. We get there. He's more of a fan about fighting than I'm about what he wouldn't take this as a compliment. He wouldn't be quiet, asking me all these crazy fight questions. So we're upstairs eating, watching we have this crazy sweet thing going on. And so he's telling me this story, and I'm into it. And next thing you know, he just bounces. He turns his back and leaves. I'm all, is this guy punching? Because he's boxed before. Like, he can actually
Yeah,
box.
he used to actually box. I
Yeah.
don't know if he's professional, but I know he boxed.
Yeah, he did. I don't know. He could be pro.
This was
'cause I
like
know he
late
had
80s.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'd done some stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, maybe this guy's punch drunk.
That's code for cocaine. He's done some stuff, I believe.
I'm sure he did
Could be
that
wrong.
too.
I apologize.
I'm sure he did that too with his brother.
Yeah.
So he took off.
I know nothing. I see nothing. So yeah. So we're eating.
Good answer.
We're eating just like having a conversation like this, and he bounces. And I'm like, wow. So I'm really thinking maybe this guy's punch drunk.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he's talking to a 6-foot blonde over there doing his thing. I was like, okay, I get it now. And he
Yeah.
comes back. He's like, oh, tell me.
He's
Like, I
blonde
remember
drunk.
this and that. So
Yeah.
and then so the night's going on. We're watching the game. So him and I are like sitting on the ice watching, and he's telling me a story about something else. I'm like, okay, and it stops. And I'm like, what? I look over and the guy's just passed out, not from drinking, just tired. And so the people were wanting, it's like, yeah, this is way past his bedtime. So they
he
woke
just
him up
conked
and
out.
Just conked
That's
out.
amazing.
I'll send you that
Yeah.
picture. Oh, I don't know if he might get in trouble because I videotaped him passing out. I'm like, this is too good. I got Frank Stallone passed out.
Let's
next
try to get a screen.
Yeah,
screen
you gotta
grab
get a
on
screen
that.
grab with that. We gotta
Yeah,
get that
okay.
one.
And we'll
Yeah.
put it here. We'll
Yeah.
put it
It'll be a fight. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
It'll be
Yeah.
all right.
He's not going to see this.
He's such a good guy.
We'll,
Like,
we'll
he's
bring it
just
up
good.
with him when he comes.
When he
up.
comes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
How is his energy though? Comparable.
Is he Christian
but-
top-notch energy?
Yeah, no, like that's like you guys are on that like
Yes.
that celebrity
Yeah.
movie star, that kind of energy kind of stuff. That's why I was like, oh goodness.
But you are a notch higher because you haven't passed out yet.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Although Christian snorts when he laughs really hard. Does Frank?
He snorts before he passes
Oh,
out.
he snorts
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
booger shit.
Yeah.
I know nothing. I see what is. I
Yeah.
see nothing. I know.
All right. So I apologize. Frank.
Hey, sorry
Yeah,
guys.
that's my Frank Stallone
Alright.
story.
Every now and then I'll snort, but
Yeah.
I mean from
Not cocaine.
from laughing.
Yes, from
Yeah.
fun times.
Jimmy can make me laugh.
Jimmy's,
From
yeah,
fun
Jimmy's
times.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jimmy's always been funny.
That's
Yeah.
what we do in here. We have a good time in here, Todd.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. And thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks
Our-
for coming.
so-
Todd Medina.
super honored. Super
Great,
honored.
great episode. Fun talk, fun times. Todd Medina, check him out. You have a website?
Todd Medina. You know, here's one that I stretch this out
We'll,
longer.
we'll plug
Yeah.
your Instagram though.
no,
Yeah,
no,
go
I,
ahead.
I don't know if you guys mess with TikTok.
Sure, a little
But
bit.
I
My
love
daughter does.
TikTok way more than IG.
Find
Whatever.
him on TikTok.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
What's your TikTok handle?
the fight coach.
Fight Coach.
Yeah.
Todd Medina, Fight Coach.
Yeah,
TikTok.
like all I do is give fight
Advice on TikTok.
All it's crazy. Self-defense, fight, what girls not to date as you're growing up. All that
Perfect.
stuff, get in
I like
trouble.
that. I like
yeah,
that.
I cover everything.
Yeah. I have
What
a daughter.
shoes
I
to
like
wear,
that.
not wear. You know,
How am I doing?
Like the whole thing. You guys are on point. We go over
Yes.
like this podcast.
Mexican
We cover
finger
it all.
wrestling, too.
Yeah.
Be careful.
That's out.
That-
That's
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Don't
more
do it.
Mexican.
We'll
Yeah.
put an ixnay on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Ixnay.
But other than
All
that,
right. Ixnay, Mexican finger wrestling.
but,
All right. Good episode.
That's cool.
We
So
good?
TikTok,
yeah, and IG, fight coach,
Fight Coach.
IG, Todd
Instagram.
Medina MMA.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Thank you so much. Todd Medina,
Thank you.
legendary. World's best dad right here.
Thanks for coming.
I love you guys. Appreciate this. Appreciate
Love you,
the
man.
opportunity.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That was rad.
Thanks, sir.
So